walking down the steps now to the harbour. The lake's got very choppy this afternoon, but we're getting onto a boat with Isa is our captain. There's Rama, who's our friend. Hello, this is Rama, who's been helping us to come here. Saying goodbye to the Jacobsons, if you can see them. They brought us here. And so we begin our 2.5-hour journey to Gombe. Fortunately, our friends have travel sickness tablets with them, so we've all popped one just in case.
We are now on the way to our destination. We've been told there are 5 different primates on this island. And we're not sure what these are. They look almost like a baboon.
Look how dark and thick and tall some of those trees are coming down through that ravine.
The Jane Goodall house, where Jane Goodall did her research on chimpanzees from the 1960s. It then became a tourist venue about 13 years later. This is where she did all her research on chimpanzees.
There's Rory standing underneath the arch at Gombe Stream. We just had a tour around Jane Goodall's original house, and even the house that she still visits now. She comes a couple of times a year, even though she's in her 80s. The sun going down at Gombe Stream on Lake Tanganyika. We've just been swimming in the lake, and we're going to snorkel tomorrow because it's crystal clear and there is so many fish.
And off we go into the forest to go and find some chimpanzees. We go up the steps. The guide's trying to contact the trackers to see where the chimpanzees are. And there's a Dr. Anton Collins, has been here since 1970? 50 years?
Yes, just studying.
One man's been studying these.
Yeah.
They like the chakma baboon in South Africa, but he's got fur on the side of his face, like a bit of a beard.
And they're smaller, and they're much nicer. We're on our way more. One of the trackers has found the chimpanzee community, so we're going into the bush a bit more to find them.
Okay, we're also again a bit of a distance from a red colobus monkey. He's dark, but he's got red.
That's very red on his head.
He's got red on his head. There they are on the branch there. There's one up there. Those are red colobus monkeys. Come, even.
This is Glitter. And the small baby is named Gombe.
It's about as close as you can get. Look at this. Look at this. Little youngster climbing a tree there. So
ridiculous. Oh, they're so beautiful. So beautiful. Here comes Rory. Here comes Rory. Oh, he doesn't like him. Slowly, slowly.
A little baby here. Looks like a little toy. His little white, his little cream face. Just chilling, leaning forward. 2, 4, 6.
Scratching under his chin. Scratching.
We're 5 meters away from a chimp that's eating. Looks like he's stripping bark and just the leaves. So enjoying that. Not worried about us at all, actually. In his teeth. Look, cleaning his teeth now, just checking what's caught between his teeth. Oh, something missed in the back tooth there. Just getting that out. Needs to have a filling. Gonna book a dentist appointment in the next week. These are our friends, the young married couple from Berlin. Johannes from Poland. They're on honeymoon. Raphael from France, but they're living in Berlin at the moment, and we've been on the walk with them.
A bit of a climb.
Right, we just climbed out of the valley to a viewpoint, very, very steep. Training, fortunately we're very fit, and this was easy. This is Lake Tanganyika from a viewpoint from the Gombe stream mountain. It's been a hard walk. We have survived. It's because of all the gymming that I do.
We were very excited to see the chimps, but it was more than I could have imagined. After our climb, we've got back and we're having a Kilimanjaro shandy. It's a lovely beer.
My name is Hussein Kengwa. I'm the one of the park guide in Tanzania National Park, especially the Gombe National Park. That is a paradise of chimpanzee. I'm staying in Gombe for guiding people for 11 years. I'm still doing the job. So I'm very good for trekking for the chimpanzee, and I can show you how good am I. invite you to visit Gombe National Park. So you can find me on WhatsApp. You are most welcome.
The best guide you could hope for. He took us on the most magical walk to the chimpanzees today.
So you are most welcome, the paradise of chimpanzee. Welcome.
Hussein knows them all by name.
Yeah.
He recognizes their faces and knows exactly who they are. And I have his details.
We're at Gombe Stream National Park in Tanzania. It was made famous by Jane Goodall doing research here on chimpanzees in 1960. But it also carries historical significance for the David Livingstone story. Now in 1858, two British Army officers, Burton and Speke, came to Tanzania in search of the source of the Nile. Livingstone's explorations and discoveries had attracted interest in Europe for people to find out the source of the Nile. How could there be a huge river flowing through the desert into Egypt that overflowed its banks in the middle of the summer? And so in 58, these two men came to Zanzibar, kitted their expedition out, and from Bagamoyo they moved to Ujiji and discovered this lake, Lake Tanganyika. But there was always the question whether Tanganyika was the source of the Nile. And they'd heard from Arab traders there was a river in the north called the Ruzizi, which, if it was flowing out of Lake Tanganyika, could be a possible source of the Nile. But other information was that that river flowed into the Lake Tanganyika. And so David Livingstone and Stanley, in 1871, after Stanley had discovered Livingstone, Dr. Livingstone, I presume, at Ujiji and resupplied him with medication and food, the two of them got onto Lake Tanganyika and traveled by boat with about 22 people on a long canoe and went around the top end of Lake Tanganyika, and they passed the area we're in now, which is Gombe Stream National Park. And they probably camped somewhere on the shores here and described some of the terrain here and saw chimpanzee or baboons in this area. They then went right to the top of Lake Tanganyika and found out that the river Ruzizi flowed into Lake Tanganyika and therefore could not be the source of the Nile, which is something that Burton had already affirmed. They then went down on the west side of this river, on the Congo, and then crossed right across back into the Tanzanian side. They were both sick at times, terribly sick, but they confirmed once and for all there is no river flowing north out of Tanganyika to become the source of the Nile. At that stage, Stanley tried to convince Livingstone to go home, and Livingstone said, no, I still want to find the source of the Nile. And so he moved west, and he thought the Lualaba was going to be the ultimate source of the Nile, but he was wrong with that even, because that flowed ultimately west to become a source of the Congo River. And so Livingstone died without ever discovering the source of the Nile.
We're just leaving Gombe now. It was an absolutely magical place, one of the best trips I've ever done. I loved it so much.
I would rather be on a corrugated road in Zambia than in the boats in which you are now traveling on Lake Tanganyika, where the waves are getting quite strong. The boatsman knows what he's doing, but it's quite rough, although we're close to the land. These are all the fishing boats going out. Go fishing.